Alrighty, folks, we have heard people like Graham Stephan say silly things like real estate investing is not worth it, even though he loves to admit he's made millions of dollars. Well, you know what? That's just malarkey. If you're in the game of real estate investing and you're committed to doing it for a decade, you can accomplish amazing things. In fact, if you are a follower of my channel, you know we just spent 3 weeks in Australia, a week in Canada. And then, oh, by the way, just for fun, we took a 10-day cruise and did some other stuff. But it's not about me. We've got the one and only Casey Brick by Brick, who just accomplished a decade-long goal for the family. They've closed on something they've been tracking and stalking for years, and it's all because of real estate. So we're going to find out what it is. We're going to hear the entire story because it does not happen just overnight. So first off, Casey, congratulations. Why don't you break the news to the audience? What have you finally done that you've been stalking for all these years?
Oh, thanks, Michael. I almost want to cry. Oh, it has been crazy. So it's not like we bought a hotel or anything. You know, we're like Coach Carson's small but mighty, and time freedom and flexibility, and doing real estate, giving you the ability to do the things you love the most. And it took us a while to kind of figure out, where do we want to spend our time? What do we want our future to look like? We become work optional. We make our own hours. This will be coming up our 3rd year of homeschooling our kids. So gosh, we have the time. What do we want to do with it? And so for the past 5 years, we have been looking for a lake house to enjoy with our family in a different city, a place that offers different opportunities and different outdoor experiences for our boys, because we live outside of Memphis and there's not much to do out here. So a place with some mountains and some outdoorsy and mountain biking and lakes and new activities was what we've been looking for. And so we finally, on June 30th, we closed on our lake house. And yes, we will probably turn it into a short-term rental, at least for the short time being. I really don't want to do that, but the investor in me is like, it's going to pay the mortgage. And I'm like, okay, let's do it for a while. So we're setting up that way now. And Blake is over there right now, scraping popcorn off the ceilings. Wow. And painting for the week. And we'll join him this weekend. But
that's amazing.
It's a long time coming.
And the thing that I want to highlight here, if you've been following the channel for years, this is the lake house that you first brought up, I want to say 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago. It's the same one, right?
So this lake house specifically has been on the market, was on the market for over a year, off and on, let's just say. So it first came on the market last year on my birthday, which was a sign. We have been looking in this neighborhood, in this same area, for 5 years. We have been in contract several times. We have paid for inspections. We have backed out every time. Most of the issue being a lot of those lake house properties are in the county. And so over time, people did unpermitted additions. And I'm not like, who cares if it was permitted, really? I don't care as long as it was done right. But because it was unpermitted and like Sally and her husband are going to do an add-on, the foundations were just screwed. So I'm like, no, thanks. So this one was listed on my birthday, and they wanted initially $699 for it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we've been looking for years. We know this market. I mean, come on, this is what I do. I analyze markets. Like, they wanted too much and I wasn't going to do it. And so we offered, and then they said no. They took it off the market at the end of last season. We still continued to offer while it was off market. They still said, we tried. We couldn't get to an agreement. We offered again in the spring. While it was off market, they still said no to what we wanted to pay. They relisted it with a different agent. I said, fine, here's another offer, and this time it was much less. So last year I offered $605. I think is what we offered last year, and they wanted $699. So they're like, no way. Yep. So we offered $605 last year. They should have taken it because this year's offer was less. Like, sorry, the market's gone down. They were so mad. They ignored us for a couple of weeks. They were just, mortified that we would, insulted that we would offer below what we offered last year. I'm like, that's just not how it works. Like, I'm not picking the price. The market is. It's just not worth it.
Right.
So we finally got them, Michael, and we got them. What did our offer price end up being? $575.
Nice.
They paid for my agent fee. They gave us 2%, 2% towards closing costs too.
Wow. So they kicked in roughly another 20 grand.
Yeah.
So really it's kind of a 255. So I mean, again, this speaks to me in so many ways. One, I call it a buy box, right? You know your area, you know where you want. You did the work, you stayed focused, you identified a property, you knew your numbers. They said no, but you kept at it. Again, I don't know how many people need to hear this. I have never gotten a deal on my first offer, ever. It's always been in the follow-up. Sometimes it's a couple of follow-ups. Sometimes it's a dozen, because again, they're either going to sell it to someone else, they're going to take it off the market, or they're going to sell it to me. There's only those three options. And until one or two happen, I'm going to assume it's three. Yeah. So I love that you did that. I really love the extra special twist you did there at the end. Like, hey, sorry, the market's different. I'm not paying 605 anymore. I'm paying 575. And yeah, you can be you could be upset for a couple of days, but it is what it is. And oh, by the way, it might be 555 next year. So pay attention.
So our offer, the recent one that got us started again was 560. And I'm like, I know they're going to come up, but we went from 605 to 560. And, I'm like, it just is what it is. So they came up to 575, but they gave us 11,500 off. So I'm like,
yes, there you go.
That's good. So, and they paid my agent fee, so I didn't have to pay that either. And I needed the agent because it's not near us. So she did a great job. I talk a lot of smack on agents, and then I also got my referral fee.
Of course you did.
But it worked out. And we did a lot of work, and some things I think people don't realize is that a lot of people will just let their agent do all the work. And like, that's their job. They're getting paid for that. But it was difficult for us because our realtor lived in that community. And so she still had like this biased opinion of value. So every time I asked her what the house was worth over the past year, she would always say, it's worth what they're asking. It's worth what they're asking. I'm like, it's not.
Nah. It's only that's a really interesting conversation, because again, real estate's one of those things, and frankly, all market transactions are like this. It's not the seller that makes the price, it's the buyer, because you have to get a mutual meeting of the minds, right? Yes, it's supply at 605 or whatever their number was that they had it listed, but it's a deal at 575 because you have a buyer and a seller agreeing. So that's a powerful. So let's give the audience a little taste, because again, I think people need to realize that, the first 5 years suck in real estate investing. It's the proof of concept, lesson learned. But the longer you do this, you keep stacking wins, you get to the decade mark. Not only can you do crazy travel like Olivia and I can do, but now you can get a freaking, I'm going to call it a vacation home, second home, whatever for you. But it was a family mission. And now you got a place for the boys. There's a lake, there's mountain. I mean, it's just, real estate provides when you stay in the game long enough. It is.
And really, like 5 years ago when we started looking, we're making more money now. So then 5 years ago, we were looking at $300,000 lake houses. And of course they were, that was like right at COVID time. And so things were half the price. They didn't go up a lot. But really, like the lake house we got now would be one that we really could not have bought nearly $600,000 house 5 years ago, and just had to be no big deal. I didn't want to buy something and then feel like, oh, how am I going to make the payments? How am I going to, I wanted it to be like, this is not a stretch. This is easy. And that's what I wanted it to be. So if it weren't for real estate, if it weren't for our long-term rentals, providing the stable income and us making smart choices along the way, we would never have been able to afford and buy comfortably a beautiful lake house on the lake with a boat dock, with a view. Like, it's fabulous.
I'm so jealous.
I'm really excited.
Good for you. Well, let's give the audience a little taste of what's to come. Obviously, your husband is already there working on it. You closed 2 weeks ago. So what's the plan? You got 30 days, 60 days of kind of making it right. What's the plan?
Well, no rush, but I do got to get it in before the end of the year so I can take advantage of all the, I got to get the tax breaks as a short-term rental. So it's got to get listed in 2026.
Sure.
So I can take advantage of that. But I hate shopping really, and I'm not good at designing. So this has been a really big challenge for me, but I've got to furnish.
I think you'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out. I did get one really good deal. I got a Crate and Barrel, like full top grade leather couch for $500, brand new from some rich people in Arkansas. And I'm like, yes. So I did get a good deal, but everything else I'm probably just going to buy new because I just hate shopping. And I hate like looking for stuff and sitting on my phone. But the goal is get it short-term rental ready, get it, do all the things, all the marketing that's required. The goal is to try and not lean heavily on Airbnb and VRBO, but to, create our own brand through that and see how it goes, see if we like it. I have been in the short-term rental Facebook groups for years because we used to want to buy a beach condo in Florida, but they did not cash flow. And even when they were $300,000, you would have to put 60% down to break even. And I'm like, nah, so I never went on that. But I got into a lot of Facebook groups, and the horror stories for short-term rentals are insane. They're like, do I really want to do that? So we'll see. We'll try it out, and we might just rent it out to, select people sort of deal. But that's the goal. We're going to rent it out. We're going to see how it goes and test the waters.
There you go. Well, I have no idea. I mean, how big is a lake? I mean, a lake house is like little 900 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1 bath. So what are we talking?
This one is a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom. It's 3,000 square feet. And it has a game room with a pool table and a shuffleboard. It's got vaulted ceilings. It's got a huge island seat, 6 people at the bar top.
Wow.
Like the master bedroom is ginormous. Like I could probably fit like a small living room and 2 king beds in there. Like I'm not gonna do that, but like, there's room for this because it was an add-on and it looks really nice. It's got windows, the windows all along the whole front of the house. Wow. Looking over the lake, and so we have 42 steps down.
40, not 41, not 43, 42.
I counted 42. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 42 steps. And kind of does like a little zigzags, but 42 steps, and it's not very bad at all. It has a boat dock with 2 jet ski ramps and a swim dock, ladders on both sides. We were there for 4th of July. I didn't know what to expect because I don't know, never been here before. So we just went out on the dock and we're like, let's just see if anyone's lighting off fireworks. Well, the neighbors literally next door to the right, I don't know how many thousands of dollars they spent on fireworks, but they put on a fantabulous show in the sky with huge fireworks right next door. And then around the little corner, these rich people who own a hearing aid center or develop some hearing aid things on this mansion, like legit mansion, they do a huge display every year. So all the boats from the lake come and they sit right there and they watch. So it was so pretty in the dusk to see all the boat lights, all the boats just sitting there on the water with their lights on, waiting to see the boat like the light show.
Oh, that's cool.
It was so cool. So I bought the kids a paddle board, so they were out there paddle boarding in the water at night, like watching the fireworks. It was so cool.
I am so happy for you. That's awesome. So how far away is it? Is door to door a couple hours? What are we talking?
3 hours and 17 minutes.
I love the fact it's 3 hours and 17 minutes. That was awesome. And again, you talked about it in the opening. You're 3 years into homeschooling. So in theory, you could spend 3-4 months there and not miss a beat.
I think we'll spend a lot of time there. Now, my boys play competitive baseball. So there's the monkey wrench, So, and they do go to like a homeschool thing, like 1 day a week, each of them. But I'm thinking there's no reason why we won't be able to spend 3 to 4 day stretches at any normal time during the year if we wanted to. And I'm sure we can miss a couple of practices, here or there. Blake's coaching my son's younger team. So we're gonna,
figure it out.
We got a coach on, in the family now. So we're doing
nice.
But yes, that's the plan.
Yeah. So again, I've talked about the wealth formula, right? Disposable income, become elite, do it for a decade. I don't know that we do enough of talking about after the decade. What are some amazing things that you could do, right? You've now have this lake house. It's going to be a generational thing. This will be something your kids, can leverage when they're, 25, 26, when they're your not to age you, but
Yeah.
your grandchildren will be coming to this place.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Next up, we need a boat.
The happiest day of a boat is when you buy it and when you sell it. That's a joke.
Jace, my middle son, he's 12. He said, we're down there. And I'm like, you little jerk. He goes, Mom, we look broke because we don't have a boat in our dock. I'm like, shut up. We just
closed.
Like, he sees all the other lake houses. They all have boats and like
jet skis.
all
we look broke.
I'm like, shut up.
I love him. It's awesome. Well, kind of close this out. Just kind of remind people of the journey. It was not only a stalking process to get this deal, but it was years of hard work and sacrifice. Just tell people that, remind them it's worth it, right? It's a process, but it is worth it, right? The treasure is worth it.
People think you have to have something right now. And it's this mentality that everyone has of, now tomorrow isn't soon enough. And so people don't take any action. You have to embrace the delayed gratification. It is worth it. I was just talking to one of my good friends down the street. She came over. We had a swim day in our pool yesterday. The first time this summer we got together, and she lives paycheck to paycheck. And she used to make more money than Blake and I did when we all started living in the same neighborhood 13 years ago. She made more than we did. Thing is, we just made different choices. Okay. Yeah. She went to Disney World. She went on, it was vacation after vacation. And she would buy things, and we did not do that. We did not. That money that you don't spend then, that you save and use to better yourself, you save and you invest, it compounds into the future. Because now we'll be having now 10 rental properties, 9 long-term rental properties, 1 short-term rental, which is not a lot. Okay. I know that. I'm not some major guru. It's not a lot, but
it's enough.
It's six-figure income every year, and it allows us to not work if we don't want. Yes, we do still live in the same house, but that we lived in, that we bought almost 13 years ago. But I'm not complaining about it anymore. I'm like, I thought, remember, do I want a big mansion? Okay. Or do I want more experiences? And I landed on my house is actually pretty nice. Yep. And it's got all the things that I want. I want to invest in experiences. So we bought the lake house. We can go mountain biking. My kids can learn to do boating stuff. We can be out more in nature and be near different things in Arkansas, different part of the country. And it wouldn't have been possible if we hadn't just bought one property at a time. Slow and steady wins the race as long as you keep at it.
Casey, you're amazing. Congratulations. It's been years in the making. We've talked about this on the record, off the record, and I'm so happy that you've closed and now you have this generational asset that you, your kids, and your grandchildren will enjoy for decades to come. So congratulations.
Thank you, Michael.